we actually got a chance to have the media and influencers play the game. So speaking of skeptics, we had a couple of influencers that when the game was first announced, I think they were a little skeptical, for good reason.
Totally.
It was going to be a new Batman Arkham VR game, right? And it was amazing. I was actually there getting to show them the game, watching them play the game, and to see the smiles on their faces when they play the game. As a developer, was amazing, man.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was like a Super Bowl that lasted for like 3 or 4 days. I didn't want to leave Gamescom towards the end of it because, there's just so much positive sentiment. We learned a lot by watching people play, by listening to the questions they had. And speaking of questions, we have a lot of follow-up questions based on that gameplay trailer that came out at Gamescom and based on all the preview covers that came out at a Gamescom on the demo that people played through. So we've got 20 questions to the Arkham franchise with an authentic, official new entry into the Arkhamverse. But I also remember thinking that this is an incredible opportunity, right? This is a beloved franchise in which even back in 2020 when we got that phone call, there had been 5 years since Arkham Knight, and we just had a feeling that community is still very strong, very hungry, and that they would be at least interested in a new entry, even if it's not in the platform that they were perhaps hoping for. So our philosophy was pretty simple. It was respect the franchise, do something new and authentic, and leverage the core strengths of the Meta Quest 3 so players get a brand new type of experience where they've never experienced a Batman game like this ever before.
Already, it's kind of iconic, the way that he pulls the vents off and he slides them over.
Absolutely.
And so it was a real aha moment the first time I did that in VR. Like, oh, yes, of course, I'm going to be able to pull it off like that and then slide it over because I want to be stealthy, right?
Exactly. And it just works as you would expect it to work, which is so much of what we've been trying to do over the last number of years developing the game. And also being authentic to the franchise. It's not the only way that you can take off vent covers, right?
Exactly. Because just like in the other games, right, when you need to, you also thrust them off, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where you're in those spaces where it's okay to be loud, right? But in the Predator spaces, for example, that's where we have the much more open spaces that you can then glide around. And to your point, you actually have to glide and then grapple up to some points as well. Otherwise, you're not going to make it.
Exactly. Now, Edward, we
had our 45-minute demo that's based on an early portion of the game that is really designed to tutorialize and introduce a lot of the mechanics, in addition to having combat and locomotion and all sorts of fun things. And we found while we were watching players play the game that they were uncovering mechanics that we weren't even teaching. One, just kind of talking about glide, is that players realize, oh, if I can grab my cape while I'm doing this, can I grab my cape and do a cape stun in the other Arkham games? And sure enough, you could do it. And then you go boop, 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 and you start doing that cool motion. And then also actually some of the non-Arkham fans discovered that feature that we were just asked about, right?
Exactly. With the slide through the grate. It was really interesting because, you figure the Arkham fans, they know, okay, you know what, as Batman, I'm going to be able to slide and I'm going to be able to slide through grates, right? But then we also had these VR influencers who they really weren't, Arkham fans or necessarily Arkham pros,
correct,
like all of our Arkham influencers, but they kind of put 2 and 2 together. They went, hey, I could slide. Can I slide through vents? And sure enough,
they did.
It happened.
And you could, the standard way of doing it, which is you can grab the smoke bomb from the inner side of your left gauntlet, you pull it out, and then, just throw it wherever you want to, where there's a crowd of enemies, you want to get the drop on them. But just like the other Arkham titles, when things get frantic, we put up a button prompt that you can just press the A button and then Batman just automatically drops the smoke bomb in there, which I think is appropriate because before we introduced that feature relatively recently, it was kind of frustrating to an extent of you're doing this fight and you're trying to escape, and then I thought that was a really great addition that the team put in recent.
I'll take them apart one by one.
Got him! He's here! Almost got him!
The open world game like City and Origins and Night, it's very much designed from the ground up to be more like Asylum in terms of the game's flow, what you're doing from a moment-to-moment perspective, and start off with some interactivity, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, you go in there as Batman and you see Dent in the room, and he's kind of surprised to see you. And so he reaches out to shake your hand. And one of the things I love about the way that we approach this is you actually have a choice there. You can shake his hand or you cannot shake his hand, right? He's going to react differently.
Exactly. I think it just builds the immersion and, again, leans into the strengths of VR storytelling.
By my orders, gut the pigs in the pigsty. Move us closer to our day of wrath.
Arkham Asylum, these fun rooms and areas that are gated by various gadgets that you have to unlock over the course of the campaign. And it's one of my honestly probably top 5 favorite things about the game is this the sense that you get from, oh, I just finished a dungeon. Okay, I'm going to go through this larger space again. Ooh, I can now unlock this thing, and I can unlock this thing. And true story, right? I told you that I was like driving home one night, and I thought, oh, I forgot to go back to that one station to use the shock gloves to unlock this thing, and that's when. It doesn't matter. It's a save file we're going to blow up, the next day. But I think that just that feeling is something you get when you're playing the Arkham games, right?
Totally, that exploration, right? Oh, I got this new gadget, which means I can now go do something new, or I can go unlock this new thing. And I remember seeing that also.
Have the ability to return to dungeons and get more collectibles, but no bespoke side missions like you get in Arkham Knight, for example.
Rat propaganda. I'll destroy any radios I find.
From Arkham Asylum, which I remember, obviously like loving the game, playing it right when it came out, and then playing it many times over again, as you have been doing over the last few years. Committed to doing an Arkham Shadow, because it's not only fun to have more combat in the game, which is such a big highlight of the title, but as you're going and unlocking all the collectibles and going deeper into these previous areas, it's fun to be able to fight these enemies, these different makeups of enemies, and then earn more XP, then earn more Wayne Tech skill points, and then keep kind of growing and building out your skill tree. The Rat King is not Jason Todd, but you can keep asking.
You punch down, we rise up.
Understandable conspiracy theories about the degree of which Robin will need to be developed as a character in this timeline, because between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum, there are 3 Robins that kind of get graduated, right? And so we're mindful of that. And all I'll say is that, yes, in fact, we have, I think, a lot of really interesting interactables in the game, and one of which I'm really excited to be able to show off exclusively in this Q&A video with him is a very interactive prop that is just a wealth of Easter eggs, right? And that's exactly right. What we have is, for example, purposely placed right behind the payphone in Gotham City in the Bowery area is the Harvey Dent campaign poster, and it's got a phone number on there. Interesting. What happens if I just kind of pick up the receiver and just dial that number? It picks up. You could choose. There's multiple choices. If you want to hear more about this thing, press 1. If you want to hear more about this thing, press 2.
Hi, I'm Harvey Dent, and I want to thank you for calling the Dent for Gotham campaign. For information on my platform and what I believe in, press 1. To make a donation, press 2. If you'd like to volunteer to help support my efforts to make Gotham a safer city for law-abiding citizens, press 3.
It's such a great fun.
Make Gotham a safer city for law-abiding citizens, press 3.
It's such a great posters and other things, and try to like dial in different numbers to see what happens. So that's one thing I'm really excited to see how the community reacts once the game comes out.
I've had a hand in some of the biggest illegal arms deals in Gotham City history. So, yeah, if that's a turn on, then you can call me.
I thought LeBlanc would at least be smart enough to not record his own confession. Apparently, I still have a lot to learn about the criminal mind.
And there's another example, I think, of you do that, you can hear some more deep cut Arkham lore.
I built this place with my own 2 hands. I'm not letting some terrorist rip it to shreds. This is the Bowery. Cops are too scared to show their faces down here. I gotta do this.
Okay, so you just start off with hard mode because you're an Arkham expert. You might be seeing the game over screen quite a bit, right?
Right, exactly. You might be seeing Gordon or whoever, kind of walk up to you multiple times, right? But that's the thing. I feel like one thing that we kind of didn't.
A lot of people died and got to the game over, so we're actually excited to be able to partner with Batman Arkham videos exclusively to show for the first time how one of our game over sequences work, and we have dozens of them in the game.
Pick him up. Let's show the world what we've done.
Yes, just like the other Arkham titles, you will see wear and tear on the Batsuit as you're going deeper into the campaign. A terrific job.
I'm near Gordon's office. Tell him to get inside.
He is away from his desk.
Probably stepped out for a smoke.
A normal way for tobacco to kill you.
The soundtrack is so good. I think I had to buy Quest 3 to play Arkham Shadow, that they can celebrate this amazing catalog of previous titles, but also get excited about these other amazing games that are coming on the horizon.
Activity on the roof. 3 descending by elevator.
Good. 3 more guns off the street. I'll find a position up above and get the drop on them.